here's my Ranchu goldfish. Fat little guy. So I have some, I think it's just a variant of Java fern against the back, and some little plant that I don't know what it is, and then a big Java fern here. Then the last tank, I have a small channel catfish, back by the filter. Alright, my channel catfish is finally out. He spends almost all of his day hiding. And back in the hole, nope. Alright, well, good thing I got to film him. Pretty cool little catfish. Can't wait till he's 20 inches long. Alright, I'm going to do a little more on the channel catfish. I just put 2 shrimp pellets in there for him. He'll come and eat soon. So yeah, these are not the most common fish. I also want to emphasize the point that I'm only keeping him in this tank for holding because he's a really small fish, but I mean, you really aren't going to be able to keep one of these long term unless you have probably a 200-gallon tank. Even then, it's going to probably outgrow it. So for a pond, I think they're probably good pond fish, assuming you don't have small fish in the pond. Here's my 75-gallon. Currently just has a Costimus in here. 13-inch Pleco. I'm going to be getting a new Oscar soon. Now some footage of my Pleco when he's active. I'll just talk about Plecos a little bit. This guy is 13 inches. It's really inactive. It's partially because there's no other fish in the tank. So I mean, they're really common fish, Plecos. They get big though. I mean, this guy is definitely not full grown. They can get 2 feet long, and I've heard reports of some people associated collecting Plecos. They can get in excess of 30 inches, but of course that's in the wild. So I mean, this guy would probably do fine if neon tetras, but I don't want to have neon tetras in this tank. I want to have something chunky. I don't think they make good centerpiece fish just because they're so inactive. But I mean, you could do that if you want to have small fish and then one big fish, but you're going to need to have at least a 50-gallon to do that responsibly just because of how big they get. But I think that they're a cool like side fish if you have a 75-gallon. You want to have maybe 2 large fish. Have like an Oscar in one of these is great. They're really tough fish. I mean, you're gonna have to have like a piranha like thing to pick on these. They're armored. They have like spines on their pectoral fins. So I mean, they're definitely cool. Well, they're big. They're definitely I think a good first big fish, but you really want to be careful about getting a 4-inch one in your 10-gallon. They can live like 20 years. I estimate this guy's 10 years old-ish, but I really don't know. Sometimes I forget that I have a 13-inch catfish in my room because he's so inactive. But when he's active, he's really cool looking. And one other side note on the Plecos, I know it sounded a little bit like I was ranting on them. You know, they're like the most hardy fish possible. I think they're cool. You just have to be aware that they have some downsides. But I think the biggest reason not to get them is their size. So there's a bunch of fancy varieties that get, you know, anything from 4, 6, 8 inches to a foot that would do great in like a 30-gallon. And then that you're not committing to such a large amount of space, and you still get a really cool looking fish. So they're cool fish. You just have to be aware that they definitely take up some space. Hey, one other thing, a little sneak peek of a future project. My new desk light, 3-gallon hexagon tank. So, little bubbler pump. I'm gonna have one hyacinth top, maybe probably some Java Fern, and maybe like some Nubius, things smaller, and a couple white clouds or some other cold water fish that would be okay in a 3-gallon. If you guys have any suggestions for that, it'd be cool. So yeah, a little future project, way of having light over my desk.